guys, it's your boy Philly here, and we're back with it on Valheim. Now, me and my friends have been playing this game for quite a bit of time, actually. We've sunk a lot of hours into this game, as I'm sure many have, because it is rather addicting. I myself probably have hit the 200-hour mark, and I just kind of want to share with you a base that I built after 200 hours. It's not built off of anything specific in mind, but this isn't in creator mode. It's a non-modded server community that me and my friends are playing on. So we're doing things on the legit side by farming and collecting the resources. So it takes quite a bit of time to actually build up monstrosity castles and towns when you're doing it this way. You can see over in the distance there, Tony's building his little fort. We have Drew over here who's building something over here, and they're coming along. And over to the left here is my castle. I think what I want to do long term is kind of turn this field into some sort of township that connects to the castle. I'm still on the fence whether or not I'm going to actually go ahead and do this. I don't know if other people are experiencing this in the game, but you can see here that the game's getting a little choppy. It seems like when it has to render in a lot of detail from what you've built, the frames just take a huge suffering. I've read on forums that it might have to do with creating these ravines, and terraforming the land too much might cause this frame drop. Hopefully something that maybe the developers can change over time. But yeah, let's get into it. This is my castle. Again, it's not built off of anything specific, but this is about 200 hours of gameplay, and just little by little I've been building it up here and there. I really like building games from, I haven't really sunk my teeth into the Minecraft, but I did play Portal Knights for a long time with my brother. We had a lot of fun actually creating worlds. So when you step into my castle here, very straightforward. This is the courtyard. I planted these trees. I like building with the stone, but I find that the stone is just very bland. Hopefully something, again, the game over time will add more interesting stone aspects. It's fun to build with, but I really feel like you need to incorporate the wood with the stone, which is why on the top of this castle it's actually built out of wood. I felt like it gave it more character and some uniqueness. As you can see here, we have the serpent trophy, acknowledging our hunter prowess before you enter this castle. But before we go into the castle, let me take you over to the right here. Again, nothing super fancy is what I call in the royal garden. So when you enter here, we have our turnips and carrots. I planted these trees just to give it some ambiance facing the ocean, along with our beehives. So this is where we can cultivate and grow some food. This tower here is actually incomplete. I've been using it simply just for storage and for building. I'm keeping rocks and so forth in here to continue the build. So I haven't quite filled out this tower yet. My brother actually helped build this tower. This is kind of what started the castle. He actually had built a base in the swamps. Funny story there, inadvertently we summoned the boss near his base. We couldn't beat the swamp boss initially, not knowing that he wouldn't despawn. He actually took quite a bit of damage to my brother's base, so at that time he kind of built a base in my base, if you will, until we could defeat that boss. So that's what started out as kind of his own little tower base, but it's just become the left side tower of this entire castle. My actual land here that I built on is meadows, black forest, but over to the right here we have the plains, and I did that so I could basically plant the barley for food in late game. But let's get out of this tower here. Let's go back down and go into the actual castle part. And yeah, got some portals here. I'm going to create something, I think, for these portals, something more grandiose and epic. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But as we enter the castle here, the first thing you'll see on the right is our throne room, and then on the left is the prison. I actually was able to kite a greyling from outside. He was throwing stones at my gate, so I kited him in here and threw him in prison for a little while. He's in detention right now for throwing rocks at my gate, so we're gonna leave him there for a little while. But leaving the prison here. Oh, and one thing about the prison is, yeah, my brother had this creative idea to be able to create bunk beds in the prison. I really kind of like that. Do not recommend sleeping in them because it kind of glitches your game out trying to get back out of them. You have to destroy the beds to get back out. But as we enter the throne room here, it took me forever to kind of build this chandelier thing. It doesn't look like much, but when you're trying to build so high up with the wood structures and everything else, and making sure it doesn't fall down without using iron reinforced wood, it was getting a little bit fickle. But I wanted something on the ceiling to be a bit grandiose with the braziers overhead. And then you can see all the trophies that I've just been collecting throughout the game. I'm still actually missing a few trophies. I just haven't put some time into going out and getting them. But I do have probably about, like, I don't know, 80% of the trophies. I got some of my older gear on the wall as well. Some of the older weapons that I'm not using anymore. And then as well as we have, you know, the throne table with some food. But yeah, this is the throne room where we come, we congregate together, and we discuss Valheim stories. This is the dock. Nothing too fancy, but if you come to the right of the castle, we got a nice simple wooden dock with our boats. I'd like to maybe incorporate stone into this somehow, but for any of you who have built in Valheim, you probably already know that building out in the ocean with stone can get a little bit tricky, especially when you get into the deeper water. So I'm not sure how or when I'll get to that, but it's something I definitely have on my mind. On the first level here, I do have an empty room. Haven't quite decided what I want to do with this room yet. I might just leave it for a future expansion. Obviously the game's going to be releasing different zones later, and that will come with it potentially new crafting materials and so forth. So I might just leave that room for then, or maybe I'll make like a royal kitchen of some sort. Haven't quite decided, but for now that room's remaining empty. As we continue upstairs, which is now going to go into the more log house on top of the castle, we have like a main foyer area with fire pit where you can just come and relax. I have a spare log room over here with fireplace. Again, haven't decorated it yet because again, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this room, or if one of my comrades is gonna take up a space in my castle. This is the King Bishop Chambers. This is what I usually go by in my games. It's my gamer tag Bishop, but this is the royal room, if you will. And I built the outside wall in mind. I tried to put some architecture to make it look unique. I wanted it to have some aesthetics where it was just not a simple square room. You know, we can come out into the balcony here. We have a view of the ocean along with a view of the royal garden. We do have a private balcony here. So again, another ocean-facing balcony, and this is private to the king's chambers. And we have some secret stashes under the stairs case here. I don't know if I'm going to keep this roof over the bed. Originally it wasn't there. I don't know, the room just felt so big and it felt so empty with the bed. The game hasn't added a lot of furniture yet to the game, so I did that just to kind of, I don't know, it was making me just too big. I might show you guys this in another video. I'll give you a little hint of it now in 2 seconds, perhaps. But this is the other tower. Again, we haven't built it down, but I have quick access from the royal chamber into the tower. And yeah, so this portal actually leads to a mountain, and I don't know if others have this in their seeds that they've generated for the game, but the mountain is the tallest we found on this seed, and it literally goes above the clouds. It was the highest to scale. We might actually do another video on that, seeing if we can build stairs all the way up to a small little cabin I built there. I'd like to build a stone tower on it, but to be honest with you, you know, the current way to ship, you know, ore via your boat to get over there, I don't know if I want to sink the time into that right now. I might wait to see if developers will eventually allow you to teleport ore through the portals. I know it's a hot topic right now that many are discussing. If we come over to this door, this is kind of like your main balcony for everyone to share. So again, you have a viewpoint of the dock, and you can see all the way out to the ocean. Over here is the center tower. So if we keep going up, it goes up quite a bit. Let me run here, speed this up for you guys. But we're getting to the first level of the center tower. I was able to build a fireplace here so you can keep warm. But you have somewhat of a decent view now at this point of the castle, as well as the landscape. And it does have one more level that goes slightly higher because I wanted it to be sort of the centerpiece. I wanted it to be taller than the other towers. So you can quickly see just how tall this tower is now up here. I couldn't go much bigger than this without using more iron reinforced beams, but I didn't want to because I felt like this was already pretty high. Yeah, so this is the center tower, and this is where we can have a good lookout of things going on. I really love it when the raids happen in this base because it's a lot of fun, especially with the plains and the Black Forest being close together. You know, you can kite the mobs. Like if I get the ground is shaking, as you guys know, the trolls come and they start attacking my base, but I can kite them over to the plains, and it's kind of fun to watch them fight the locks or the goblins, and it just becomes an all-out war. So going back down through the castle here, this is the courtyard. So again, this is my courtyard. I actually started off with this workshop. This is one of the original buildings. As soon as I could build stone, I wanted a simple, clean workshop where I could teleport in and I would have access to everything I need to repair and as well create potions, food, etc. So this is actually one of the original buildings, and I haven't actually changed it much. And you can see we have the deer trophy on top, which I think gives it a nice aesthetic appeal. This storage unit is new. It used to be a wooden storage unit, but I didn't like the idea that I had only one wooden structure and now, you know, a castle full of stone. So I actually ended up redoing this. I took some hints from some other people and other builds out there, but I made it look, you know, super clean with the shelving, which I think gives it just a nice look versus just throwing them on the floor. I tried to incorporate another, you know, fancier roof up here with brazier. But again, we have a very clean storage. And I have an instant access portal down here that's not activated right now, but I can activate it anytime when I'm out in the open world if I just simply want to come back in here and transport mats very quickly. Planted this pine tree. I just feel like the tree is like a nice little centerpiece in the courtyard, give it a nice fancier look. And then obviously to the left here we have our kilns and our furnaces to create bars from the ore. Down this way, through this bridge, we're going to be actually entering into the plains biome now. This came a bit later in the game after we basically conquered the mountains, and now we're ready to make the next level gear with the blast furnaces, etc. You know, basically, you know, to plant the flax as well as the barley, I needed a garden in the plains, so that's why I ended up extending my castle over into the plains so that I can grow and cultivate those particular plants here. And then to the right here is the windmills, and this is another area that I have to build out a little bit. I want to make it a little bit more fancier, and obviously I want to make the ground a little bit more level with the castle, but this came a little bit later in the game. This is also another fully functional tower, so if we scroll up the tower here, we have our smokestacks from the blast furnaces. But again, we can get a viewpoint of all the enemies when they're generated on the map. If there's any goblins or deer or whatever, you know, we can shoot them from the tower, etc. when you're under raid. So it's pretty fun to do actually. When this castle gets under raid, just going in the towers and shooting them with the bows, or going out and fighting them head on, or kiting them to the other biomes to let it be an all-out war. I don't know. It's a lot of fun when it actually happens. It's too bad that it's sporadic and it's random. I've had situations where I've literally gotten 3 raids like so fast right in a row, and then there's been other times where it's, you know, I've gotten many in-game days and nothing's happened. I think we're at like over 600 in-game days now. It'd have to turn night for you guys to see it, but yeah, let me know. I haven't named the castle yet. Maybe some of you guys out there have some ideas or some suggestions. If you do, throw it in the comments. I want to have a name for it. I eventually want to do like a cobblestone street that connects all the forts from the other players to the main castle, and then I want to build out maybe a small little township here, just to kind of fill it. But again, I'm kind of maybe waiting at this point to see if the developers will improve frame rate and stability when you start building this big, because, you know, in the real world I can get about 100 frames, you know, at 3440 by 1440 resolution, but right now in this castle we're actually averaging about 25 to 30, so it really hurts your frames when you start building this big. And last but not least, I think I just want to show you guys our hub here. Where is it? Here. So this is our central hub. This is what we were using throughout the game, something me and my brother created. We just had a lot of fun with it. We found this random little island out in the middle of the ocean, and we're like, you know what, we got to build out here. So you're probably already noticing how much more smoother the game looks now when I'm not in my castle. But yeah, so this is literally an island just out in the middle of the ocean. If you can see there on the mini map there, we're out in the ocean. But yeah, we found it, and we're like, hey, we got to build our central hub out here. So we built a grandiose fireplace here, but basically this connects to the world, all the different bosses, all of our different zones and bases where we can quickly and effectively teleport to. And we, you know, again, this doesn't provide any actual difference where we put the portals. It's just more for aesthetics. We thought it looks really cool to have something that's out in the middle of the ocean. But yeah, so that's about it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know a lot of you like to see, you know, bigger structures that have been thought out and built. But this is a legit server that, you know, we have about 200 hours in. We didn't actually build anything to any specific model. It's just kind of random building that over time we've kept improving on. And this was my castle, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions or something that you guys think we should add on to it, again, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for enjoying the video. Stay tuned for the next one.